What's up, everybody? This is your boy Chainsaw. I know it's been a while. Look, I wish it hadn't been a while, but that's the reality of the situation when you're running on a low budget broadcast here. So listen, I would love to spend more time, being able to showcase more of the things that are happening here. Around the state and around the country, and giving you my opinion on local politics. But of course, these purple lights, they ain't paying for themselves here. So, support your boy Chainsaw. Jump on patreon.com/chainsawccc, and keep your boy here. I know it's been a while. It's Jesus Christ. It's been, according to YouTube, it's been a month, but I'm thinking it's been a little bit closer to like 6 weeks at this point, right? Well before the elections. Look, it's the first day of December, so happy December to you. I got a birthday coming up, so don't want to forget me for that. But anyway, listen, I did want to definitely make sure that I had a chance to jump in on this story. I wanted to originally broadcast today. I had a few hours. I wanted to put some things together, and the idea was I wanted to kind of bring the audience behind the scenes to let you know how it is that I put this show together. So I wanted to live stream on Twitch, and then while live streaming on Twitch, we were going to put together a few segments for the show to be like, hey, we're still in business here. We're just going through some transitions, and that ended up not being the case. I had a couple of things I had to run out and do again. Look, these lights don't pay for themselves, okay? So support your boy Chainsaw on Patreon. We're not doing it for 2 years, 5 days a week, producing the show on $4 a month here. So support your boy Chainsaw on Patreon. But I came across this story, and I knew that this at least had to be the one that I talked about today. So without further ado, so I jumped on Twitter, and lo and behold, you wouldn't believe what was trending. I mean, you might. It was two things, Elon Musk and St. Louis. And I'm like, what do you mean? St. Louis is trending. Elon Musk is trending. Well, lo and behold, we're going to take a look. Cori Bush had some things to say, but we're going to take a look at we're going to look at the tweets first that she had commented on. Let's see if we can pull this up and bring this in. Zoom skis here. So Elon Musk tweeted this out, found in closet at Twitter HQ, and it's the hashtag StayWoke t-shirts. Whole gaggle of them, right? 7 million views this has gotten. And this is, again, screen grab by Cori Bush. We'll get into that in just a second. In response to his own tweet here, Elon continues the thread. Hashtag StayWoke shirts stem from the Ferguson protests. Obama's own DOJ proved this and exonerated the cop. Hands up, don't shoot was made up. The whole thing was a fiction. The whole thing was a fiction. The whole thing was a fiction? The whole thing was a fiction, according to Musk. The whole thing was a fiction, he says. Jesus Christ, the whole thing. That's like a lot. Okay, so Andy No, of course, has got is in Elon's brain and is causing him like brain worms, brain rot, if you will. Andy No tweets out in response: "Hands up, don't shoot is one of the biggest hoaxes to come from the American left in the last decade. That big lie has inspired many to become radicalized and militant." And Elon Musk, of course, tweets out, "True." So the whole thing was a hoax. The whole thing was just a big liberal leftist hoax or something. So let's take a look at that, shall we? I mean, look, folks, there have been like 1,000 and a bajillion articles about this, so like you can take the time to look it up yourself. But let's just take a look real quick at the Wikipedia article, because I know everybody loves Wikipedia, and I don't know if I have a way to show this on the screen real super quick. All of this away from me. The evidence presented evidence for the shooting scene, right? Evidence presented to the grand jury that the shooting scene extended approximately 184 feet along Canfield Drive. You can see here from the illustration. Pictures help. Graphics help. Near Copper Creek Court, the two-lane street runs east to west and has sidewalks and curbs on both sides. Immediately prior to the incident, Brown was walking eastbound on Canfield and Officer Wilson was driving westbound. Evidence at the scene was generally clustered around Wilson's patrol SUV on the western side of the scene and near Brown's body, which is on the eastern part of the area. So we won't get into all that. The 30-foot evidence includes 2 bracelets, a baseball cap, 40 caliber spent casings. One of these casings was found at the western edge of the scene. The other located near the driver's side of the police vehicle. 2 groups of red stains near the driver's side of the vehicle, and a left sandal was located in the vicinity. So you can see, what white Nike sandal left, white Nike sandal right, his body, from there. So it's quite the distance here. 184 feet, 152 feet from Wilson's car to where Michael Brown's body was found. Let's see. 1 apparent projectile was found near the body. There were 10 spent 40 caliber casings scattered on the south side of the road near Brown's body. The distribution of the casings, combined with most of the casings being east of the body, was consistent with Officer Wilson moving backward while firing. Blood spatter approximately 25 feet behind Brown's body suggested Brown was moving toward Wilson when Brown was killed. So we have apparent projectile, red stains, baseline. Just Jesus. So DNA. Let's skip on down to autopsies here. Again, this is all on the Wikipedia. They have the articles that are sourced here, so you can take a look at this stuff yourself. If you're still coming from the class of 2000 to 2005 that believes that Wikipedia, even though it's open source, is not a good reference because anybody can go in and change anything on Wikipedia, fucking try it sometime, okay? It's not quite, it's open source, but it's not exactly what you think as far as, fucking try it sometime. See how long that shit lasts. 3 autopsies were performed on Brown's body, with all 3 noting Brown had been shot at least 6 times, including twice in the head. He received no shots in the back. The county autopsy report described gunshot entry and exit wounds to Brown's right arm, coming from both front, ventral palms facing upward, and back, dorsal palms facing backwards. The local medical examiner autopsy report released to state prosecutors said Brown was shot in the front part of his body. When Mary Case, the St. Louis County medical examiner, was asked to provide details, she declined to comment further, citing the ongoing investigation into Brown's death. The official county autopsy was later leaked to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. The narrative reported the investigation from the Office of Medical Examiner of St. Louis agreed with Wilson's testimony. It noted Brown had sustained multiple gunshots to the head, torso, right arm, as well as single gunshot wounds to the inside of the right hand near his thumb and palm. It also noted that Brown's body had abrasions to the right side of his face and on the back of his left hand. The autopsy noted the absence of stifling powder burns around a wound that indicated a shot was fired at a relatively short range. Michael Graham notes that gunshot wounds within an inch of the body do not always cause stifling, so that had to be really, really, really fucking close, right? A medical examination of tissue taken from Brown's thumb wound detected the presence of a foreign material consistent with material which is ejected from a gun while firing. The gunshot wound to the top of Brown's head was consistent with Brown either falling forward or being in a lunging position. The shot was instantly fatal. The toxicology test performed by a St. Louis laboratory revealed that the presence of THC, no one gives a fuck. The guy smoked pot. Big fucking deal. If you care, you go fuck yourself. At the request of Brown's family on August 17th, the preliminary autopsy was conducted by Michael Baden, a former chief medical examiner of City of New York. This autopsy was limited because the previous county autopsy had washed, embalmed, and taken evidence off the body. According to Baden's report, Brown was shot 6 times into his front. 4 of the bullets entered his right arm. 1 entered his right eye in a downward trajectory, and 1 entered the top of his skull. All the rounds were fired from a distance of at least a foot. One of the shots shattered Brown's right eye, traveled through his face, then exited his jaw, and re-entered his collarbone. Motherfucker. Brown could have survived the first bullet wounds, but The bullet that entered the top of his head resulted in a fatal injury. Baden had no access to the clothing of the victim and had not yet seen the x-rays showing where the bullets were in the body. He could not determine if any gunpowder residue was on the clothing. Baden concluded there was too little information to forensically reconstruct the shooting. At least 2 commentators noted that the results of both autopsies contradicted some aspects of some eyewitness accounts, which had reported Wilson shot Brown in the back, and that Wilson shot Brown while holding Brown's neck. In later analysis, Baden reclassified one of Brown's chest wounds as an entry wound. Baden was assisted by Sean Parcels, who did not have a degree or credentials in medicine or pathology. Thomas Young, former Jackson County medical examiner, said Parcels gave out forensic pathology opinions when Parcels is not qualified to do so. Mary Case, who performed the initial autopsy, said Parcels' involvement could cause issues with the second autopsy. Parcels said all he did was assist Baden. Parcels was convicted of 6 criminal charges relating to autopsies he had illegally performed. So Attorney General Eric Holder, this is where we get into what those shitbags were talking about, ordered a 3rd autopsy of Brown's body. Its findings matched the other 2 autopsies, but its details findings were initially withheld from the public due to ongoing investigation. The federal autopsy report was among a group of documents released by the St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office on December 8th, 2 weeks after the grand jury chose not to indict Wilson. On August 27th, CNN released an audio recording purported to contain the sound of the shooting. The recording was made by an anonymous third party who happened to be recording a video text message at the time. Glide Video Messaging Services confirmed the audio had been recorded on their site at 12:02 p.m. on the day of the shooting. The 12-second recording contains a series of shots, a short pause, and then a second series of shots. Forensic audio expert Paul Ginsberg said he heard 6 shots, a pause, and then 4 additional shots. Ginsberg said, "I was very concerned about that pause because it's not just the number of gunshots, it's how they were fired. And that has a huge relevance on how this case might finally end up." CNN's law enforcement analyst Tom Fuentes noted most accounts of the shooting say there was a single shot earlier in the incident near the vehicle that's not audible in the recording. The recording was also analyzed by SST Inc., a company specializing in gunfire locator technology. That analysis found the sound of 10 gunshots and 7 gunshot echoes within 7 seconds, with a 3-second pause after the 6th shot. The company's analysis also said all 10 rounds were fired from within a radius of 3 feet, indicating the shooter was not moving. So the Washington Post said there was an unorthodox forensic practices shown in the published testimony of Officer Wilson and other law enforcement officials. The article said Wilson washed blood off his hands without photographing them first. It also said Wilson submitted his gun to evidence by himself, and that initial interviews of Wilson were conducted with other personnel present and were not taped. It described Wilson's face injuries after the shooting as photographed by a local detector at the Fraternal Order of Police building instead of at the Ferguson Police Headquarters. An investigator with St. Louis County Medical Examiner's Office testified he did not take measurements at the crime scene, nor did he photograph the scene, instead relying on photographs taken by the St. Louis County Police Department. So, I mean, we could continue reading this shit, but I don't really see what the point is. Listen, folks, just to kind of give you an idea of why I'm bringing this up and why this is, kind of bigger news than I think most are, is, I mean, you've got somebody like Andy Ngo in Elon Musk's ear, telling him about, who to ban, who to police on, and what to look for on Twitter. You've got the reinstatement. This is the great amnesty week. Okay, you might have noticed that me and a few other folks have put our accounts on private because of fuck all that. I've already been hit by, and targeted by a lot of these fucking fascist sons of bitches. As we move forward, I'm actually considering whether or not I even want to keep my account active. The only reason I still have an account, on Twitter, is because the site has been super good to me so far. As far as helping me with my reach and helping me with my audience building. But I mean, Jesus Christ, do I really want to, support and continue to perpetuate this basically Parler part 2 4chan hellscape that Elon Musk and folks like Andy Ngo have created and allowed to take over, the town square of the internet, right? Or whatever the fuck it is that they call Twitter. Your local commons for communication. I mean, folks like Cori Bush are on this website. Basically, every political candidate, political activist that I've interacted in the last year is on this site. Fucking why? I mean, legit. We'll get to that in just a second. But I want to leave. I want to close this with Cori Bush's tweet here. So at Elon Musk, leave St. Louis Ferguson. Out your disingenuous, ignorant pseudo-intellectualism. You don't know the first thing about our movement. And then she, of course, left those screenshots and then followed that up. The last time I checked, not a single person is asking an out-of-touch failed businessman, the son of an apartheid benefactor, who harvested emeralds on the backs of black people in South Africa, his thoughts on a black-led social movement. Leave St. Louis out your mouth. Yeah. All about it. But that said, listen, folks, what fucking hope do we have for 2024? I mean, I'm just being real here. What fucking hope do we really have for 2024? I know there's a lot of folks out there who are really excited about moving forward. I've been talking with and speaking with and being involved with a local network of community organizers and political activists and political candidates and other podcast people to talk about publicizing a network that's going to basically create something that's going to permeate more messaging for progressive messaging for folks in rural communities and all that fun shit. But like, for real, let's be fucking absolutely goddamn pragmatic for just a second. What fucking hope do any of us actually have for 2024 or any of this shit in reaching these fashy bastards? Or any of the moderates, or middle of the road people, or just regular everyday, Democrat voters who maybe weren't motivated enough to come out in 2022. What fucking hope do we even have if we can't even convince folks to get off of Twitter? If we can't even convince the left to not support this fashy fucking website that is run by Elon Musk, that is owned solely and operated solely and the executive 100% of executive authority is in the incapable hands of Elon Musk, and you've got these fashy bastards in his ear like Andy Ngo. And we can't convince people. I can't convince people. I can't convince the few short 500 people who follow me on Twitter. Legit. Yeah, I'm private because fuck all that. I can't convince the 529 followers that I have on Twitter to jump on my Discord, to jump on my YouTube, to start a Mastodon account and continue to tweet. Like, listen, you jump on Discord and I'll show you how you can actually post on Twitter, and that will actually take your post from Twitter and also post on Mastodon. So eventually you can just get rid of Mastodon and not have to fuck with these guys. I can't convince folks to do that. Better people than me can't convince folks to do that. What chance do we really have in 2024? I'm just saying. We can't even not use the fascist fucking social media website. And we're supposed to stop these people from taking over our electoral democracy. Look, I don't mean to sound like a accelerationist or anything, but like, the fuck are you people doing? Like, for real. And yes, at this point, I'm attacking the audience. I'm attacking my audience. I'm attacking my followers. I'm attacking my YouTube subscribers. Get the fuck off. I'm not saying like stop using Twitter today. I'm not saying stop using Twitter today. I'm saying start a Mastodon today. Start anything else. Go to Jesus Christ. Start a co-host today. Get on fucking Tumblr today. get a hold of somebody who is significantly better at coding than I am, and create an option that you can post from your Twitter, and then that'll echo onto your Tumblr, or post from your Twitter and that'll echo onto your co-host. I mean, really, start a co-host, but there's really nobody on co-host. But like Mastodon is through the fucking roof. Okay, my first server that I got on Mastodon, I actually don't use that account because immediately after I started it, I was like the last one on. They closed that shit down, and like they closed that shit down because so many people were jumping on that server. But like it's back up, it's da-da-da. So like but they a lot of folks are turning to alternatives that are open source, and that are using the federated system as opposed to this close-knit system because fucking Elon Musk, because that guy that you watched this video and you got all pissed off about, because that guy that you saw, the Cori Bush, was trending on Twitter, or you saw her post because you follow her, and you got all fucking pissed off that you've been, crying about and bitching and complaining about for weeks now, because that guy is in control of like a significant portion of your social media. Okay? And no amount of wanting is going to change that. Okay? Biden can't even get his shit together when it comes to rail workers. You really think that he's going to take over Twitter for you? Get the fuck out of here. So again, this exercise in futility is giving me a lot of insight as to where we actually stand when it comes to 2024. If we can't even convince folks to not use a fascist website owned by literal fascists to communicate with each other, when a lot of us have been talking and expressing about this for weeks now, I don't know how the fuck we're supposed to organize and do jack diddly diddly dick between now and Election Day 2024, when it's really gonna fucking matter, when it's not just these assholes letting loose the pedo crew and the actual pedo crew, not the Balenciaga fucking conspiracy assholes, but the people who are actually making death threats to folks on social media. When they're letting them back, into the same platform that you've been posting whatever the fuck it is that you've been posting about for, 6-7 years. To see all that shit. And you're feeling comfortable and confident about it. And the only person that you have to depend on to protect you from that shit is Elon Musk. So, you tell me how I'm supposed to be hopeful, or how any of us are supposed to be hopeful for what we're able to unite and be capable of. Come Election Day 2024. Again, if we can't get the left off of fucking Twitter when there are other viable options, like at least start looking in that direction and talking about it. What the fuck you really think we're going to do with the ballot box, folks? I'm just being real about it. I'm just being 100% about it. Look, I understand that this is probably going to get me a lot of hate from my subscribers and from my followers, and that's perfectly fine. I understand your frustration. I understand that you don't like being called out about that shit. I don't like being called out about this shit. I started a Mastodon account. I didn't use it. I continued to use Twitter. And then I started getting targeted by these fascist assholes. So I locked up my account and I stopped using Twitter. I haven't been available, so I don't know what's going on. I already had my Facebook hacked into, so I'm like off of Facebook entirely now. I don't know. I can't be here to supervise my social media, whenever I'm out in the field and out working and da-da-da. Because again, you can't run a media operation 5 days a week, putting together an hour's worth of material 5 days a week on a, $4 a month budget. It's just not going to happen. It's, I did it for 2 years. So you can't do it after that. That shit's impossible. But, I get it. I get that folks are not really liking the idea of having to make the switch and having to whatever. And that's fine. Listen, jump on my Discord. I can provide you with the options to still be able to use your Twitter and still be able to use a Masto account to tweet. Okay? Like that's super easy. And whenever you're ready to like leave Twitter. Like when all of us are ready to just delete our Twitter accounts and the whole fucking thing turns into a 4chan cesspool, you know, by all means. But if folks are just content with things the way they are, I don't think it's going to get any worse. You know, that doesn't give me a lot of hope as far as where our democracy is going to be going between now and 2024 also. Listen, you can call me conspiracy brained if you want to. I'm watching it in real time, happening in social media and happening in media. You know, we bought ourselves some time in 2022. You know, I warned you before that these folks are going to be figuring this stuff out for 2024, and you better believe that they're going to be on their A game. So, I mean, if you need an example of that, just look at the difference between Trump, the electability of Trump versus DeSantis. These folks are going to be on their A game in 2024. So if we're sitting on our asses and twiddling our thumbs and wondering about, oh, what should we do? I don't know. We might as well just hand the shit over to them now. But anyway, listen, I know I'm not going to get a lot of likes and subscribes for this, or follows, but, you know, if you want to support the channel monetarily, keep your boy Chainsaw in this seat and not out there in the field delivering fucking sandwiches and pizza. Support me on Patreon at chainsawccc.com/join, patreon.com/chainsawccc, and Jesus, we'll catch you in the next one. Good fucking luck.